Right now, so I'm reacting to Jeezy. He's speaking on JC. So let's check out exactly what Jeezy said about JC. Check this clip out.
But you're not sitting on the block with your thing cocked no more.
Nah, but we'll talk about that offline. But,
but I was going to ask, does the street mentality actually leave, right? So if you see, I mean, and you've been around Jay, and you've seen his evolution of being always looking over his shoulder to now, when I see him walking in the buildings, it's like free. I don't have to worry about that. Even when I see 50 move, he feels more free. Do you feel that way, or do you feel like I'm always still got it?
I mean, but I still got it because I'm not exempt, but I understand what it is. But, you know, I carry myself with a level of integrity. So it's just like, as long as I feel like it's mutual respect, I don't feel like the need to even have to watch the room. But I will tell you this. I've been on a journey for about like almost 8-9 years now. You know what I'm saying? But I can tell you at this point in my life, like I'm really at peace. Like I don't worry about the things that I can't control, and that is including people. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's just like everybody know me. I float around my city or any city.
What got you there though? Because it took you a long time to get there. What got you there?
Work.
Therapy,
work, journaling, meditating, all that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not even gonna hold you. Like it's real. And when you wake up and you start to realize, like, okay, and you can emotionally regulate, and you know who you are, you have nothing to prove, there's no better feeling. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't got to prove anything. And by the way, you can tell because people are attracted to that, because they can tell that that's how you feel. Peace attracts peace. Chaos attracts chaos. Ain't no way around that. You know what I'm saying? If you got nervous energy, you're going to attract nervous people. I ain't inviting no nervous people to my house to watch me DJ. Know that.
I want to go back. He mentioned Jay-Z. Do you remember the moment when Jay-Z told you that album was a classic? I remember reading that in maybe Double XL or something.
He said to me, you got a brand. He texted me. He was like, you got a brand. And I didn't know what that meant at first, but, you know, 20 years later, I can see that what he meant. Like, you actually stand for something and people understand what that is, right? So it's almost like your brand could be anything, but my brand has always been motivation. You know what I'm saying? But if you're coming out with your first album, it's hard to tell people you're motivating people. But 20 years later, that's what it is. I'm still doing what I know how to do best. And that's what he was trying to get me to see, like, stay there. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, music was changing. You know, we all want to be hot. But it's like when you on fire in the inside, you don't need to be on fire outside. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to chase nothing. But then I would have. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, you know, it was snap music. It was crunk music. I had to figure it out. You know, I'm rapping and I'm making songs that are the tempo or, you know, 72. You know, you think about Nuck If You Buck. You know, that was up there. So I'm in the club competing with that, thinking, man, maybe I should, you know, but he was more saying, like, stay there, you good. Yeah.
But didn't he tell you that that album was a classic?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah. He did. He hit me up. He was just like, yo, I think when he heard it for the first time, because I played it for him, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, he definitely told me, he was like, yo, this one here gonna live with you. And you know me, I was already on to the next one. I was like, well, what am I gonna do for the next album? Because you know how it is, you living from that place of survival. You like, man, if this work, I gotta be ready again, because that's a lot of pressure. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that helped me when he told me it was a classic, because, you know, back then, you know, I was a little wild, so that got to, you know, that definitely, you know, made my head a little bigger. So that definitely, you know, like, got to my ego.
Did you ask him to get on Dope Boys Go Crazy?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. I remember playing it. So first of all, that record was a record that I heard when I was over somebody else's trap house, and they was playing this Tip mixtape. I think it was Down with the King.
Yeah.
And I was just over there, and I was kicking it, and they was playing it. They asked me did I hear it, and I heard him rapping over the Go Crazy beat, and I'm like, I said, who made the beat? It was like Don Cannon. So I left and I called Don Cannon. I was like, yo, I need a beat like that. And then he said, why not use that beat? And I said, okay, what you mean? And he said, Tip didn't buy the beat. He just rapped over it. I was like, bet. Where you at? I'm gonna pull up on you now. You know what I'm saying? Right now. I got the record. I had a meeting in Def Jam. So I flew in. Me and Coach K flew into New York that morning. He picked me up from the studio. We flew in. We flew back that same night. On the way back, I wrote Go Crazy on the plane. You know what I'm saying? Flying back to Atlanta. Recorded it that night. I had 3 verses. Def Jam came about 2 weeks later and we was all in Patchworks, and I played the whole album. And when I got to that song, it was all clapping when it was done. And I was like, yo, by the way, I'm putting Jay-Z on this song. I said, y'all need to work that out. I told L.A. Reid that.
I'm putting Jay-Z on it, but you ain't speak to Hov yet.
Right, no. You got to speak it in existence.
All right.
And one day for the BET Awards, I was out in L.A., and Hov called me to his hotel. He's like, yo, come by the hotel. So we sit upstairs in his suite, outside on the patio, smoking cigars, just talking, because we never talked about music. We always talk about life. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, what verse you gonna take off? And I was like, we mean? And then he was talking about Go Crazy. I had 3 verses. And then he said, I'm doing it, by the way. And I was like, take it, you can take them all off.
All right, now, so there you have it. That was Jeezy, formerly known as Young Jeezy. And he was speaking on JC. If you don't know, back in the day, JC would collaborate with Southern rappers. He did this in order to gain fans from the South. So he would collaborate with Pimp C and also Bun B. And he definitely liked listening to Jeezy's music. And Jeezy back in the day, while he was trying to become a superstar in the rap game, he was also tied to BMF. And that is the infamous, crew from Detroit. And he was tied to, BMF and all that. And he would make a lot of money, flipping keys for that crew. So after Big Meech told him to focus more on rap, that's when he quit that lifestyle and he focused all his time on rap. And he finally made it big around 1 or 2 years later after that. And he would collaborate with Gucci Mane. And then they had this fallout. And it turned ugly between them. And nowadays he's just a family man. He's recently divorced, and it's just nice to see a brother doing good. So let me know what you think about this. Make sure to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next videos.